Sometimes it can be confusing to know what counts to an overall story of the series. This is the case with Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a massive, with 7 books, 8 movies, a prequel series, and a lot of extra content that you might not even know about. But sometimes it is not clear about what is canon and what isn't. Now, if you don't know, canon is basically what counts to the main story of a franchise and what is the proper way to consume the series. So what counts as canon to the Harry Potter series and what doesn't? So if we put out this massive giant timeline, where would all the books and movies fit into it? Well, today we find out. Now let's start out with the books. Now the books are absolutely canon because they were the first addition to the Harry Potter series and they are what came out first. You got Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And on the timeline, they span from 1991 to 1998. This is where the books would have taken place. However, just because the Harry Potter books are canon, that does not mean that the movies are. Now, the movies are not canon, and here's why. When they adapted the books to the movies, they have to cut out a lot of things to be able to fit it into a reasonable runtime for a film. And when they are turning the book into a movie, they have to change a few things. Like in the books, Dobby gives Harry the Gilly-Wig for the second task, however in the movies it was Neville. So they do change minor things and big things for the movies. So that is why the movies are not canon, because the books came out first and they are the proper story of Harry Potter and the films are just adaptations. And there can't be 2 different versions of the story. Now that does not mean that the films are not a vital part of the Harry Potter series, because they are. The movies have grossed millions and they have kept the Harry Potter fandom still popular after all these years, and there are still new fans every year, and it is still popular today. But unfortunately they do not count as canon. So let's move on to the Hogwarts Textbooks. Now the Hogwarts Textbooks are a part of the Hogwarts Library series and are also considered canon. This includes Quidditch Through the Ages, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and The Tales of Beedle the Bard. And as far as I know, all of these books were mentioned in the Harry Potter series. And a lot of these textbooks also have little notes that were written from Harry Potter and his friends, and even a message from Dumbledore. They were written by J.K. Rowling for charity, but they do have fictional magical authors that supposedly came out with them in the Wizarding World. They don't really have a place on the timeline because they're books inside of the series, but they are canon. Up next we have Pottermore Presents Short Stories from Hogwarts. Now these are 3 books that were written by J.K. Rowling only a few years ago. The collection of books includes Hogwarts of Power, Politics and Pesky Poltergeists, Hogwarts of Heroism, Hardships and Dangerous Hobbies, and Hogwarts An Incomplete and Unreliable Guide. These books are just short little stories that take place in Hogwarts and give you a little glimpse of other stories that take place in the Wizarding World, and these books are also considered canon, like the Hogwarts Library series. Now, this one is a little tricky, but according to J.K. Rowling, it is considered to be canon and a part of the Harry Potter series. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, this book was written as a stage play and was written by John Tiffany and Jack Thorne, and I believe that J.K. Rowling assisted in the making of the book. Now, a lot of the Harry Potter fans do not like this book and don't consider it to be canon. And there are opinions about this, and I can see why. It is so different to anything in the Harry Potter series, and that is probably because J.K. Rowling didn't personally write it herself. She had help. Now, this play does take place 19 years after the Deathly Hallows and follows the life of Harry's son Albus. The concept isn't actually that bad, and the story can be a bit confusing at times and might go against some things that were in the Harry Potter series, but there are some really good parts to it. But according to J.K. Rowling, she has confirmed that this book is canon, so that is why I am considering it canon, and that is why it's going on the timeline after the Deathly Hallows. Next we have the prequel series, Fantastic Beasts. Now, even though the Harry Potter movies are not canon, the Fantastic Beasts movies are canon, because there was no book or story before it. The main character of the movies is Newt Scamander, and he's a fictional author who wrote the textbook Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and as I said earlier, is in the Hogwarts Library. See how it all connects together? The Fantastic Beasts series is supposed to span over 5 movies, starting from 1926 and ending in 1945. So far, there have been only 2 additions to the series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. But new movies to this franchise will be coming out every few years. So hopefully when those movies come out, they'll be able to fit nicely onto the timeline. So on the canon timeline, the Fantastic Beasts movies come before the Harry Potter series. Now that is all for the canon source material that counts towards the overall story of Harry Potter, but there are other things that do not count towards the canon timeline, like Hogwarts Mystery. Now this is an iPhone game that takes you before Harry attended Hogwarts, and you get to be a student at the school and go to classes and interact with characters. The game is definitely not canon, even though it might seem like it is, because there are some things that don't line up properly and with the overall story of Harry Potter as we know it. So other games like Wizards Unite are not canon, they're just for fun. Pottermore, or as it's known now, Wizarding World, is a canon website where you can access information about the characters, places, and history about the Wizarding World. J.K. Rowling also writes things on there herself, like extra facts and things you might have not known about the characters. Well, that is all for the Harry Potter canon timeline and what counts to the overall series. And who knows, maybe in the future there might be new additions to the Wizarding World, like new books or possibly movies. Who knows what they have planned. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you next Friday.